everyone. This is Priya Vakharia here from Instrucko. I have Adele with me here. We are here to, just let you know how basically what parents are expecting out of the Instrucko classes for their kids. So, hi Adele, how are you?
Hi, Priya. I'm very good. Thank you. How are you today?
I'm doing good, thank you. So, Adele, can you maybe introduce yourself a little bit so that the audience knows what we're going to do next?
Sure. Sure. Hello, everyone, whoever's tuning in to our little chat here. So my name is Adele, as Priya has already told you. And I'm a full-time teacher with Instrucko. I also take care of the teacher trainings at Instrucko.
Great, amazing, Adele. Adele, I have been with Instrucko since quite a while, and what I think basically is we should let the audience know what parents at Instrucko and what kids at Instrucko learn, right? And not just learn, but what they expect out of the Instrucko classes for their kids. So,
Right.
I have certain questions that the parents ask me regarding how Instructor is going to help their kids. So the first question, what they come across, for example, they want to go ahead with the English classes, which are the most learned classes at Instructor. So what their
Right.
query is here, that how would Instructor help their child to be fluent in English? Because English is a language that
Absolutely.
is very common, but how to portray themselves in that language is something what the parents are looking for.
Absolutely. So the same question comes to me when I'm taking a lot of demos, English demos. And my answer to every parent is that, Instrucko is the safest hands to put your child in while learning English because we have the best content in the market. Our content is award winning. It's been designed by educationists from Oxford. And so our content is not only designed by really good, well-read people, but then it goes through a lot of checks before it's been put out there to the parents. So it's very, very well researched and well curated content. And the best part, the USP of our content is that we teach through storytelling. So, through storytelling, as everyone knows that, when you read a story, you pick up so much new vocabulary. And apart from vocabulary, you learn how to form sentences. Our lessons are very interactive. We have questions after every page on our lesson. So that way, the child keeps speaking throughout the lesson. They're always, expressing themselves. They're trying to build sentences. They're putting their thoughts into words. And we have internationally certified teachers who are there to help them to, frame their thoughts
Yeah.
correctly. Apart from that, we have grammar at the end of the lesson.
Yeah, sorry. So, just to add on to the content part, what I also feel, these days content is one of the major contributed, content part is the most contributed thing to any course, basically, right? So our content is,
Right.
as you correctly mentioned, it's all story based. So, what parents also think sometimes is online classes, right? So online classes, how will my child sit in front of the screen and all of that is what their question is. So as you rightly mentioned, all our digitized
Right.
animated content based on stories and activities helps the children sit in front of the screen because it's very interesting and interactive for them, right? So I think that's
Absolutely.
is that's one of the USPs of Instructor.
To add on to that, Priya, so if you study education and if you study the child's mind from a younger age, it is scientifically proven that a child has an attention span for 26 minutes.
Correct.
That is how much their attention lasts. And beyond 26 minutes, their attention starts wavering. So there is only whatever substantial information can be fed to a child can be fed to them within the first 26 minutes of learning. And at Instrucko, time to say hi and time to say bye to them. So we channelize those 26 minutes very, very well through our storytelling lessons, through our grammar lessons, and it works very well for children. In fact, all the children that I have taught, all the children, a lot of our teachers have taught, parents have seen a difference in 5 classes, in
Correct.
5 lessons. They've
That's
seen, their
actually,
children speaking much more.
yeah, that's actually like great. I don't think any institute provides improvement just within 5 classes. That's also, and I also
Right,
what I tell to the parents when I speak with them is, our like for example, we have the 40 classes, which is like the first level of
right,
films. So those 40 classes, how we structure is also very important, right? So for example, after every 4 or 5 classes, we have the assessment class. Now, of course, this assessment class
right.
that we have is not like an academic test or anything like that. But in this assessment class, since the teachers will understand if the children has understood what has been taught before, so that is how the teacher can tailor make the classes further also. Correct? And of course, that
Absolutely. So
yeah, please go ahead.
please go ahead. So yeah, I was saying, Priya, we keep monitoring the progress of the child throughout the class, and we understand, what is the area that the child needs a little more help with, and we focus on that. If we feel that the
Yeah, that
child
was
needs a little more
actually my
help
next question. The next question that the parents ask is, fine, you told about the content, about all of that, but then how do you measure the child's progress? So, of course, the things that you mentioned, you can please continue.
Sure. So we keep monitoring, how the child is responding to the class, how the child is responding to our content. And then according to that, we focus a little more on the child's problem areas per se. And then we dedicate a little more attention, we dedicate a little more, we make some more worksheets for them. And as I told you at the beginning, that I'm also the teacher trainer. So every new teacher who comes through to Instrucko goes through our channel here. And then in these trainings, we make sure that, the teachers are very intuitive to the child's progress. It is not just, a rehearsed thing that, this is our lesson and this is what we'll teach. We tell the teacher to go by intuition, because all of our teachers are highly qualified. And we also expect them to, understand what the child's need is in that lesson or in the next lesson. And if, we see that the child's attention is wavering, we also discuss methods to how do we bring back their attention to the lesson, how do we engage them better, how do we make sure that, these 30 minutes are being utilized well by us, so
Yeah,
that the parent can see a difference in their child.
correct. So just an observation that I also had regarding some of the classes. For younger
Hmm.
kids, there are instructor teachers use props. So to make it very responsive, because
Absolutely.
because props is something that attracts younger kids the most. Like if you have you know if,
Absolutely.
if you have the garden story that we have, so we have that tree with the teachers use, and through those props is what the child, the what basically happens is when the children see something, that is what they remember, rather than
Right.
us just speaking about it,
Absolutely.
right? So I think that is also
Absolutely.
very
So
good.
for the younger children, we use a lot of props related to the lesson. We use a lot of realia in our class, where we bring, if the lesson is about vegetables, we bring real vegetables and we show it to the child. So the child learns a lot. It is not just about learning the language, there is holistic learning involved. And a lot of our English lessons involve a bit of science, a bit of history, a bit of geography. So there's a lot that the child learns and takes back from an instructor lesson. And apart from the props that we use for younger children, we also use encouragement props for the older children, something like, these ones. And this
Wow.
is something that they really, yeah, they really like these. And you see a big smile on their face when you show them these props.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, my next question would be about the teachers. So, the teachers
Right,
are very important. Like, one is the content, and the other part is the teachers, which
right,
together it maintains the quality of all the classes. So, if you can let us
right.
know a little bit about the teachers, how we hire them, what the process is, what kind of teachers
Absolutely.
there are at Instrucko.
So our teachers go through a multi-layered screening process. It is not just one person clearing them. They go through 3 layers of screening. And we make sure that every single teacher of ours has a degree in education. Apart from that, we also prefer teachers who are internationally certified, someone who has, say, a TEFL certification, that is teaching English as a foreign language, or a TESOL certification, that is teaching English as a second language, or a CELTA certification, which is the Cambridge English Language Certification. So we look for these qualifications in our teachers. We also try and see that, we have teachers who have experience in teaching. We don't take inexperienced teachers. So
Right.
every teacher knows how to handle their how to handle their child well. That is something that we pay a lot of attention to. Of course, fluency in the language and understanding of their subject is something that we look into.
Yeah.
And apart from teachers from India, we have teachers from all around the world. We have a lot of native speakers who work with us.
Yeah, correct. So Adele, my next
Yes.
question would be here, for example, there are kids who are 3 or 4 years old. For them, for their
Right.
parents, the main concern is how would you make my child sit? Because of course, the young children
Absolutely.
get distracted
Yes.
very quickly. So then, how do the teachers maintain that?
Absolutely. So my answer to, this question comes to me also. So my answer is, technology is the way forward. We are living in a time of technology, and whether we like it or not, children are introduced to technology at a very young age. Now, if you give the child this, they have become used to screens. It is sad, but children have become used to screens. They have become used to taking instructions from screens. And as I mentioned, as we've been conversing, our lessons are very engaging. So the children have literally come, they're learning from a story that, a very friendly teacher with a lot of lovely props is, presenting to them. So it becomes a very enjoyable experience. And most of our younger students look forward to their Instrucko lessons because it's, they're learning in fun and games.
Yeah, exactly. I think that the instructor classes are not at all similar to the school classes that they usually have. So, the first
Absolutely.
thing are all
Absolutely.
live one-to-one classes that we have, which can be
Right.
personalized, tailor-made according to their requirements, right?
Since you brought up schools, I'd like to mention that, a lot of schools are incorporating Instructor lessons as a part of their curriculum in school during school learning hours. So, that goes to show how versatile Instructor's lessons actually are. That, schools are also wanting it as a part of their curriculum.
Right, right. So I think this is amazing, and there is one more question that comes across, which is what is the duration of the course? How are the classes conducted?
Right.
Can you give a little light on that?
Sure. So we have one-on-one classes or we have group classes. The duration of a one-on-one English class is for 30 minutes. The duration for a group English class is for 45 minutes. A
Right.
group class has a maximum of 4 to 5 children. We don't do very large groups because we want to pay individual attention. And teachers also make individual progress reports for the students. So we want to make sure that the teacher is, understanding every student's needs and catering to every student's needs in the class in the time allotted. We Would you like to know what lessons we have to offer at Instructor?
Yeah, yeah, of course, you can go ahead.
So we have a huge, vast array of lessons that we offer. So our star is our English lesson. Our English lessons are our star lessons. And apart from that, we have public speaking and creative writing, which is also well. And the children are really enjoying creative writing through our lessons, public speaking through our lessons. And as you are aware, this time in the budget, the finance minister also emphasized on the importance of financial literacy in schools. So we also have a very, very well curated, very, very well assimilated financial literacy course that we've started. So that is up for grabs. Then we are also very famous for all our language lessons, which is Spanish, French, German, Mandarin. So yes, you ask for it and we have most of it out there. We have maths and etiquette training also.
Yeah, so I think if you can throw a little light on personality development course that I've heard that Instructor has recently launched.
Yes. So, when you go to school, you learn history, it's maybe mentioned in passe.
Can you repeat
Sorry.
it? It got all cut. Can you repeat?
Okay. Sure. So, been wanting to cough for so long. So I was saying, but okay. Um, so when you go to school, you learn English, you learn science, you learn maths, history, you learn all of that. But where do you learn manners? People expect you to know all your manners. They expect that, in this situation, you should say this, in this situation, you should say that. But where do you learn all of this? So, in our personality development course, this is what we touch upon. This is what we, introduce the children to. How do they sit? What language do they use? What tone do they speak in? What hand gestures do they use? What is respect? What is etiquette? It's a whole all round learning, things that we don't get directly addressed in school. We are directly addressing all of these queries. So whenever you're in doubt that what do we do in this situation, how do we greet this stranger, how do we break the ice with a new person, so we touch upon all of this in the etiquette training or personality development course.
Wow, great. So, as you were mentioning this, I was actually recalling something as well. So, when I was in school, I used to learn new words, new vocabulary, new the grammar and all of that. But what I faced personally was
Right.
how to implement that. And I think Instrucko
Right.
helps in that implementation and application. Like, for example, if a child has
Absolutely.
a new vocabulary word today. So I think the activity part that we have in our lessons, that is the part when the
Mhm.
child can implement what has been learned and taught to the child.
Right. So, yes, again, all of this comes back to our storytelling methodology. Because when the child is being introduced to a new word, we are not just giving them a new word hanging in the air. The word is being used in a sentence, it is being used in context, a character is saying something. So they understand the context around the word, with which they can, elicit their own response. They can understand that, okay, this is the meaning, or this may be the meaning of the word. So we help the child elicit, we elicit responses from children. We don't directly give them the meaning of a word. So when they see a new word, they guess a little around it, they read somewhere close by. These methods help to retain information for longer. And then we have a separate section where we have put together all the vocabulary, all the new words that are there in the lesson on one page for the child to refer to at a later stage. Also, we'll have an activity with a lot of the new vocabulary that has been introduced in that lesson in our activity section.
Yes, right. Adele, just 1 second. I was just thinking if we can
Sure.
show lesson.
Sorry? Yeah.
Lesson item. So let me.
Yeah.
So
Are
amazing.
you showing it or shall I show it?
You can share your screen 1 second. Let me tell you to. I'll ask you to, and then you can do it.
Okay. Which lesson should I show? Any preferences?
I don't know. Maybe the astronaut one. Anita.
Uh, I can just stargazing. It has about constellations and all. It's something that I don't think anyone else has.
Okay, great. So let me ask you to do it, and you can do it.
Yeah.
So, Adele, as you were saying about, you were letting us know how the lessons are structured. Can you show maybe some of the lessons?
Right. Sure. So, the lesson that I'm going to present to you today is called stargazing. I'll just briefly take you through what the lesson is about. So, it's very, the concept of constellations is very beautifully introduced in this lesson because it's a setup of, a family who goes out camping, and then these kids, they spot these patterns that the stars have made, and the little one asks that, what are these? Why are the stars in this pattern? And then the older sibling goes on to explain about constellations and how, she's been introduced to it in school. And that's how the child is introduced to the concept of constellations. I'll just show you the lesson.
Sure.
So this is how our lessons start. So in the beginning, you are told what you will be doing in the writing section. This is how we will touch upon critical thinking in our lesson, and this is how we will touch upon emotional intelligence.
This
So
is
emotional
really
intelligence.
amazing, Adele. Sorry to interrupt, but I would really like to like the audience to know that like the learning objectives that we have for every lesson is something that I don't think anyone at all has. And not just that, but this is what makes the child as well as the teacher understand about what the lesson is going to be about and what they're going to learn in that lesson.
Absolutely. And critical thinking and emotional intelligence is often overlooked in regular school lessons
Yeah.
that we have. This is something that we pay a lot of attention to, especially the critical thinking aspect. How do we touch upon this? So, when we speak about a character in a story, we always ask the child to, put themselves in place of the character. And then we ask them, what would you do in this situation? What would your questions to the other person be in this situation? So this helps the child to think. And the more the child thinks, the more their thinking evolves.
I totally agree with you.
Yes. So I'll carry on with the lesson. As I had mentioned earlier, we have all of the vocabulary in one place together for reference at a later stage. Yes. And this is how our lesson looks. As I'd mentioned, there is, a question after every page. So the child is constantly thinking, the child is constantly engaged, and they're constantly answering questions.
Yeah.
I'll quickly take you to the activity section and show you what that looks like. So once the lesson is over, then we have the activity section. So here in this lesson, the child is going to learn to write a limerick. Okay, that is something that may or may not be touched upon in school. So we have a vast array of topics that are covered. This is a little bit of grammar that we'll be touching upon.
Great.
And there's always a home assignment at the end of every lesson.
Wow, this is amazing. So, just to I've seen the story, the lesson, and all of that. So, what I think personally is this is like if I have to pitch to the parents regarding our lessons, what I can actually say is that our lessons are all digitized, animated, cartoonish. So it is just like the child is watching a cartoon, but it's just that the teacher is guiding through the cartoon, right? So which is
Yeah,
something
they're not just watching, they're reading, they're writing, they're thinking, they're picking up new vocabulary. There's so much to it.
yeah. I think this is amazing, Adele. Anything else that you would like to share with the audience?
Um, I feel that, everyone should come and experience an Instrucko lesson once because it is truly an experience. It's something that, I did for my own child, even though, I have the lessons readily available. Being in an Instrucko class is an experience itself. The child learns so much and it's so much fun. It's so much fun. And I'd like every child out there to experience it. So, and we welcome all of you with open hearts and hands to Instrucko.
Great, great. It was nice having the session with you, Adele. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Yeah.